All right. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another edition of Dating Diaries. I am your host, Christal XO. Of course, this is from Christal XO, and my dating diary conversations. We know are one half Christal XO, and the other half Scorpio Mo.
What up? Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day, October 15th.
I'm gonna start calling you. Cigar Mo.
I need it after today, but it's been one of those weeks already, and it's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday. It's only Wednesday, and it's a long way to go. We got a long way to go, but it's a good thing. It's actually, you know what? Before we even get started with today, we gotta pay a little homage. We gotta pay a little homage to D'Angelo.
Yes. Yes.
We gotta pay a little homage to D'Angelo because, man, I did not expect that. Yesterday, learning that he passed away, man, it was a shock. It was a surprise, and it was just heartbreaking because I wrote an article about it. I just feel like his music was, to me, the definitive like neo soul. We know Jill Scott and Music Soul Child, but he was such a big piece of the definition of neo soul. And I think even beyond that, because I think some neo soul artists like a Raheem Devine, or even, even to an extent, like their music didn't touch anybody. But I don't feel like anybody with any genre of music could not appreciate, Brown Sugar, right? And You're My Lady, like his music just, to me, it surpassed just neo soul. That's just, what do you think?
Nah, absolutely. I remember him coming in. I remember when he came to Atlanta, he did the station. He was at the MARTA station at the Underground with a keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Live, and he was live on the radio, and I always remembered that moment, and then just seeing his progression, but then also seeing him kind of like falling back off the scene, and then he had came back at one point, faded back again. But from what I understand, he was kind of like Prince in the sense of he never stopped recording though.
Right. And like Prince, hey DeQueezy, and like Prince, he played instruments. He composed, he played, he sang. I saw a video, and I wasn't able to pull it, but I wanted to for today, where he was singing with a church choir. He was singing a gospel song with a church choir when he was like 18.
Okay.
Beautiful, just beautiful. He just was a true artist. We all know that How Does It Feel was, I don't know how many parodies were done on How Does It Feel when he got his body ridiculously straight and did that video. But the thing I love about D'Angelo is, even though he did that video that, had women all up on the TV screen looking down like that, allegedly, that's what I heard. I don't know if anyone did that, but I heard that women were pressed up against the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure you did hear that.
But it didn't define him. Like, he could do something that showed, his physical, but yet you never thought about women with like, oh yeah, the video, but the music still was the biggest thing about him, right? The music still was the focal point. And I think for most people, if somebody else had done that, then it would have like surpassed the sexiness, and the sex appeal would have been bigger than their talent. But with him, that was not the case.
I think being as though that wasn't on his first album.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I think if it was on the first album, he'd have been trying to chase and top that. But the fact that second, he already had hits. That was good.
Yeah. What was your favorite? Because I feel like his music was just like, you put that on. I remember being, in college, being on a date that's playing in the car, on the date. Like, that's to me the vibe that the music was. You just put that on and you can ride. If you're on a road trip, you know, his music was really great for that.
You're My Lady.
That's my favorite one too. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know someone that did a remake to that.
Indeed you did. Indeed you did. I forgot about that. You should have played. You should have brought it for the people.
Well, God bless that brother. Super, super, super talented.
Yeah, and 51 years old, pancreatic cancer. Just I do want to say, you know, I posted last week that I went for my mammogram, and Jada Baker says me and my girlfriend was definitely looking down the screen. I understand, sis. It was like trying to figure out.
With your nasty ass.
No. Just looking for research purposes only. But I think this is a good opportunity to just tell people, women, you know, a lot of women watch this channel, and some men as well. But if you are a woman in a relationship with a man, friends, brothers, significant other, please make sure that he gets checked. Please make sure that he goes to the doctor, and vice versa. If you are a male watching, please make sure that the women in your life, you know, remind them, you got your mammogram, have you gone to the doctor, you got your, like, we gotta really hold each other accountable, because the biggest way to fight cancer is early detection. And because that is, you know, some forms of cancer, they can go undetected for a really long time. By the time you find out that you have it, it's too late to stop it. And so I just really want to take this moment to encourage people to make sure that we're going to the doctor. I saw a crazy statistic, and we're getting ready to get into the dating, but you know, this is just us here talking. I saw a crazy statistic that basically was showing how many people have passed in their 50s, or like between 45 and 55. And it is absolutely crazy. The number of notables, you know, that have passed away between 45 and 55. And a lot of times, something is going on with YouTube, might be why so few viewers now. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but hopefully it'll work itself out. Hopefully it'll work itself out. You guys, in the meantime, go ahead and like this so that people will see that there's something good happening here. That would be great. You guys that are watching, go ahead and like it. It says Delphin says something's going on too.
I thought it was me. That's what you see me doing, because I keep turning the phone off and on and saying, okay, so it's not just me.
Wow. Not YouTube hating on us. Hey, consumer. So, but like I was saying, just please please remind people to get tested. Please. We don't want to lose any more people. We don't want to lose anyone, celebrities or not. We don't want to lose any of us. So, you know, sometimes going to the doctor can early detection can make all the difference. So make sure you do that. Speaking of that,
because women do a better job, but y'all brothers, man, you know, look at it just around your birthday time and make sure for your new birthday. That's how I kind of keep up with the physical, is, you know, around my birthday time, and, you know, that kind of thing. And just, it is good to stay on top of it, whether it be cancer, heart disease, which is the silent killer, and all these things. So Christal's 1000% right.
Absolutely. So let's make sure that we encourage each other while we kiki and we laugh and we talk, and make sure that we're also doing the important things. If you have a friend, make sure that you encourage them or ask them uncomfortable questions. Like, Mo, have you had your prostate checked?
Yeah. But not the old school way.
It's a new way?
Yeah, they can do it with the needle now. Thank God. Oof.
Are you sure?
I'm 1000% sure.
I've never heard of this needle way.
Hey, you don't have to believe me. There's a way because I do the thing where they test for a lot of stuff all at once, and they clamp it down in your arm. There's all these needles.
Yeah.
Raw, and that's one of them. I asked them. I definitely had to ask. My doctor got big hands, so I did ask him.
Alrighty. Well, on that note,
And, go see the other people, the OBGYN people, ladies.
OBGYN. Yes, please do good. Yes.
I know to go right now, but anyway, good.
Anyway, tonight we decided to start talking a little bit about Love is Blind, because Love is Blind has a lot of dating issues. And this season, season 9 in Denver, has been extremely interesting. Before I jumped on, we're not going to talk about the entire, we're going to start a little bit today with a few of the couples, and then we're going to talk a little bit more next week. But I will just tell y'all before we get started, I saw the worst breakup. Just the most heartbreaking breakup. You know, sometimes if you're watching someone, you could be a totally different age, totally different demographic, race, culture, background, but you can see when someone's heart is broken. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch because you know what that feels like. Well, I know what that feels like. I don't know if men do you. Let me ask you this before we get started into the analysis of the show. What does that do to you all? Are you able, if you see a woman, maybe not someone that you're in a relationship, you see a woman and her heart is breaking and she really is, just heartbroken over the breakup. Do you empathize with that?
Yes.
I'm just saying, because I'm wondering, as I was watching this breakup on the show, I don't want to give away spoilers for those of you that have not seen it, and we're not going to talk about this part, but I often wonder, like, when a man is breaking up with a woman and she's crying and going through what is going on in you guys' head? That's who I'm talking about, Delphin. He seemed unfazed, unbothered.
Well, we got a job to do. Now, you got to focus, you got to lock in, and it's hard, but it's better for the long run. And this is the reason why we're supposed to come in here and lead. And it's tough, and it's not to say it's easy, but it'll be a lot harder later. It'll be worse. So you just deal with it, suck it up. And, you go off and maybe you'll drive back home or whatever it is. Or once they leave your home and things get quiet, it does mess with you, but you've done it for the greater of the situation. And I just want that's the part that gets overlooked. If not, there are brothers, even myself, that through that conversation, you wind up saying, you know what, I think because you felt sorry or your heart goes out to. And then you say, well, maybe I could work it out. And you're saying this to them and you're embracing them, and maybe you guys get intimate and you be like, do you still like them, love them, or whatever it is? But then you get right back to where you were and you were out. And now you're going to have to do it all over again at some point. And you know it. And you didn't do it for you did it for them. Can't do it.
Or maybe in this situation, maybe you did it to be on TV.
Well, like I said, you just asked in general. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's ask that. And we talk about dating deal breakers, disasters, and dilemmas. What has been your most painful breakup?
I had a woman, had to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting on my couch, and it was tough because she was crying and she was like, I thought we were going to be together forever. And that echoed to me for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Point, I took her back later, and we wind up coming back to the same place. And then she agreed. She was like, I see what you were saying. Here it is 2 years later. And was like, I told you that then you could have been moved on with some other gentleman. I was saying that, but that's the thing. Sometimes when you're the leader, you got to be the bad guy. And you got to do what needs to be done, and you're the villain. And it seems like that now. But then during the 2 years, she saw it. And I was like, then we had a mutual breakup. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think I guess whoever needs to break up is the leader at that point, because sometimes It's not always the man that breaks up with the woman. The first couple that we're going to talk about tonight is the woman breaks up with the man. And I was like, I'll be honest, I am not a good breaker upper. I am not as bad as Kacie. This is foolishness.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What would that look like? If you were the person doing the breaking.
I've done it. Don't act like I'm always only been.
No. I just said, what does it look like, nigga?
Yeah.
What's the process for you? You ain't got to go into details, but just I want to know kind of. You sit them down. How does it happen?
I'm bad. I'm bad. I will try to lie. I'm just being honest. And I think everybody lies about the breakup. You say it's you. You say it's not them. You know, I don't like confrontation, and I don't like hurting people's feelings. So I have made it seem like I was, I may start to like slowly not answer or just tell them that I'm not ready to. I just think this is going too fast. I'm not ready. It's definitely me. It's something going on. It's a lot for me with my children right now. I am. It's never the right time to say goodbye.
This is it. So, or do you do the typical, I just need some space right now to get it together, but we're not broke up, but then you just phase it out from there?
No, what I usually do is I usually act like that it's not a breakup. It's not them, and I just need to get myself together, and then I don't ever talk to them anymore.
Okay.
That's horrible. That's horrible. It's horrible. Now that's when things are good. There have been some people when I was dating, I'm quick to be like, it's just not a good fit. I think we're really good as friends. I'm quick to put somebody in the friendship category. That's a really good thing that I do. Some of my best work is saying, I think we're good we're better as friends. You know what I mean? I just feel like we would be better as friends. I do at like second date, second, third date. I think we'll be better as friends. I think, I just think right now I don't really have time for a relationship, but I think you're a great guy. I think we'd be better as friends. That is another thing I specialize in as well. I don't like breaking up with people.
I did it over dinner a few times. And I told somebody, and then when I took them to dinner and said we got to talk, she was like, "Oh, you taking me to the breakup dinner?"
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that is not that. And you know what? I also we have a dilemma. Also, I have been known to do it via text.
Whoa.
I have my weaknesses. That's also before I became evolved. I have texted somebody and said, I just don't feel like this is working. And that's that.
How hard to live with them?
Well, yeah, no. The only person I live with, I was like, this. I told them this ain't gonna work, and they were like, "How can you just make that decision?" I was like, "Cause I just did. I just not." But that's when things have gone bad.
Cause then you got to watch them pack.
No, you don't have to watch them pack. You leave the house. You leave the house while they pack. Nobody's watching nobody pack. I don't want to be around. I don't want to see you pack. And please leave while I pack. But I've only had that one time where no, I'm not seeing you pack. Get your ish and get out. Get out. Yeah, I broke up by text a couple of times. I admit but I will say I am not as bad as Kacie. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen on dating, on reality dating, on a reality dating show. This woman, let's just familiarize everybody with Kacie and Joe. So Kacie is, you know, blonde, blue hair, lots of extensions, lots of lashes, lots of makeup, and Joe is an Asian fella. Now, the reason I bring up Joe's ethnicity is because not Joe, I'm sorry, Patrick and Kacie. The reason I bring up Patrick's ethnicity is because I, as a Black woman, we have always heard someone say you're cute to be dark skinned, or pretty much you're cute to be dark, and women never like that, right? Never like hearing that. And you never think that someone in another culture may be dealing with the same thing. What I have learned is that many cultures besides African American or besides Black people also deal with colorism and deal with racial, bias. And so when Patrick actually said that he has heard, because he dates mostly white women, which seems like it seems like he's trying to like self-sabotage. But he said that a lot of times when dating white women, he'll hear he's cute to be Asian, and that bothers him. And he came into the pods with the hope of being able to find someone that would enjoy his personality, get to know him, and would not be turned off by the time they figured out he was Asian. Gun Boss Baby, I don't know why his jacket looks like that, but
Patrick tried to hold on as long as he could without saying he was Asian.
He did not want to admit he was Asian. And I just never, ever thought, it never occurred to me that other races were dealing with that when they date white people. That's crazy to me. Like, I would expect because we've seen Black guys on this show that want to date white girls, and they don't want the white girl to hold it against them that they're Black. We've seen that, right? She's never dated a Black guy. We've seen that in the past. Not General Towels. See, Boogie, go to timeout. But that, to hear him say that he does not want to give up his race because he doesn't want it to be held against him, to me was really sad. How did you feel? I felt like it feels like self-hate. It feels like you don't like being Asian. And I hate talking about this because this is so divisive, but we're just commenting on the show. It felt like that is something that he is almost like ashamed of, or doesn't feel comfortable with his own nationality, which is really sad. And for him to say, even with the other young lady that was Asian, it's almost like when they found out that each of them, both of them date white people outside of their race. But I felt like he kept saying that he liked her, but I still think he would have picked Kacie over her if he could have.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I felt for him a little bit, but not really.
What?
Not really.
Why not?
Should have stuck with the Asian chick. This is what happens. This is you roll the dice when you start messing with the other folks. you whether you want to be with them or you want the acceptance, this is what some people you skipped over your own people.
He did, but he didn't really. No, he didn't. You can't say that because Anna left.
Right. No, I'm saying preference.
Yeah. He right, but he did say his preference was, that was the weirdest thing. I don't know if you guys, when you watched it, I felt so uncomfortable when he was like, "Why you should date white girls?" And she was like, "Yeah, same. I used to date white guys." I was just like, ugh. It just felt cringe because it felt like they did not. And I agree with Marriott. I feel like neither one of them really wants to be with another Asian person. I feel like both of them want to be with a white person.
But he should have saw felt, because he couldn't see. It was in the pod, but her energy level dropped once he said what he was.
Let's look at that. I did pull that clip.
Thank you.
I pulled that clip, and let's let this is cringy in itself, but let's watch this. This is when he first you can see the fact, even if her energy hadn't dropped, the fact that he was so not confident and so insecure would have made any woman's energy drop.
Even get it out.
He couldn't. Here we go.
Do you think I should share it with you?
Yeah, I think you should.
Like my ethnicity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well.
Or where are your parents from?
Yeah, well. Let me think this through for a second.
Okay. I'm wondering why you're so hesitant.
About it?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to, like, be judged for it, you know?
Okay.
Welcome to the club, buddy. I know.
That was weird to me. Like, he was, first of all, what was he flipping through the book for?
Nerves.
Was he looking for his ethnicity in the book? He was like, let me think about this. Hold on. Let me think about this.
North Korean, and then he real fast put in that Cambodian.
I that was weird to me. But I think if he had said, if she said, so he said, do you think I should tell you? And she says, yes, I think you should. And then he said, my parents are Asian and Cambodian, and kept going. I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. Now, she is full of ish, so she still was going to have a problem because she's superficial, right? But I don't think he's a bad looking guy, but I think she wants somebody that looks like Joe, right? She just super superficial. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the way he carried it and the way he was like, well, let me just think this through. But my parents, this is like, dude, what? Like, it's how he made it seem like he looked like, I don't know.
Confidence, and that's what he should have. He did not.
He does not. And I think he said he was good looking for an Asian. He did say that. That was crazy. That was wild. Also, I think that sound, and I hate to say this because, you know, this is YouTube and but I feel like that feels like a lot of self-hate. It feels like Patrick is struggling with a lot of self-hatred. He probably has grown up in a very predominantly white space.
There it is right there.
Yeah, and he doesn't feel comfortable. And I think I was really hoping when I saw him that he would connect with Anna and they would reconnect with their culture, because I don't think you can ever be 100% comfortable when you are not comfortable with who you see in the mirror. Like, if you're always trying to be a part of another culture, I don't think there's anything wrong with having friends, and maybe if that's who you choose to hang out with, or even if you choose to date. I don't have a problem when people date outside their race. I have a problem when people don't find their own race unattractive. Because if you find your own race unattractive, ultimately you find yourself unattractive.
That part, and unfortunately, it seems to be only people who grew up in predominantly whatever that is. You could, you know, but just as a black man, try being in my shoes. If we lived in there, you would get a tip.
He would never.
This is what I'm saying. So you come in there, and I don't know what's the worst they could think of you. But when we, as black men, walk in it, we're everything. We're the biggest threat in the room. We're the thief. We're the murderer. We're the whatever in the room. We are the first suspect every time, and we have to move around like that. And for it to be, I remember for a short time I went to an all-white school. They automatically put me on the basketball team. I ain't even know.
Little did they know that you were pigeon-toed and did not have that type of hand-foot coordination.
Exactly. And it's just stuff like that, or something happened. They first looking at me first, then working their way up. You know, it's crazy. So that's why I have some compassion, just because he's a human, and that must suck. You know what I mean? That part of it I get. That must just suck, especially if you generally like somebody. But I don't think he liked that girl. He just wants acceptance from those people.
That part, I agree. That was good, Mo. Noah had a good point. This is pretty deep. She said, Black men have bad experiences with Black women and date outside their race. Other people have bad experiences with vanilla people and shrink. I definitely feel like that is the case with Patrick. Like he has ran into this numerous times, because if you notice, I feel like he even wanted validation and acceptance with the guys. And I think that it's two things. Number one, people respond to you. A big part of how people respond to you is how you respond to yourself. And the fact that he is walking around feeling like he doesn't like being the only Asian in the room, and he doesn't want to, he really wants to be able to assimilate, that comes off. For some people that may not have a problem with it, they're gonna have a problem with it because he does. And then secondly, you have to go where you're celebrated, right?
Go to Chinatown. Why not?
I don't think there's a Chinatown in Denver. I'm just saying, my mom lived in Denver, and I'm telling you, that is one of the reasons when I was looking for a college, when I was going to college, my uncle, growing up, we were from Toledo, Ohio, but my uncle moved to Denver, Colorado. Denver is beautiful. And I remember we went to visit Boulder, Colorado. He had a place there. Boulder is probably one of the most beautiful places in the United States. Gorgeous. It looks like a postcard all the time. So when I got ready to go to college, they were trying to help me figure out where I wanted to go. And I remember my uncle saying the University of Boulder, and where ironically is where Dion is at now, right? But I remember when I went, and this is years and years ago, the percentage of African Americans at that school was 0.4. And I was like, not ever. Because I know what it felt like to be the only Black girl in a predominantly white space. And it's never a good thing. So for me, growing up as, and that's why when my mom took me and put me in another school where it was predominantly Black, and it was, you had to have a certain GPA, it made a huge difference. It's difficult being the only minority in a predominantly white space. And it does something to your self-esteem. But at this age, it's to Patrick to figure out how to find himself. And chasing validation someplace else is not it. Now, there are a whole lot. Now, that's for Patrick. I want to talk about Kacie, because Kacie irritated me. How I could not. I was thoroughly irritated with her the entire time. First of all, never in the history of Love is Blind, and I've been watching Love is Blind since it first started during the pandemic. Never has someone had basically, what is it called when you have when you're like sexting is what they call it. When you're having a conversation that's, purely sexual. The conversation that she had about her landing strip and all this it was wild to me. And I was like, she is leading she's all superficial and sexuality. And I thought it was disgusting. It was really like she was trying to see, that's what a lot of women understand that do lead with their sexuality. They understand that can appeal to the emotional part of men temporarily. Yes, you can get them worked up and get them thinking about you temporarily, but it won't last. It's kind of like when you smell something cooking that's really good, like smells a pie baking in the oven, and it can get your attention. But after you have a slice, you're kind of over it. The smell no longer is that intoxicating. It's only intoxicating until you taste it, and then it quickly becomes, passé. You're no longer connected to it, right? And I feel like that's exactly the same way. So what did you think as a man listening to her? She was talking to him like she was a stripper.
Seducing him.
Yeah, it was seductive through the wall.
Through the wall, trying to bring him on in and get him locked. And, you understand, in a space with a bunch of women, and this is their finally getaway to talk to the opposite sex. And I don't know if it was personal towards him, like for him. I don't think it was for him. It was for her idea of him.
Well, I think it was for her idea to win, to get to, because she did say, to Africa's point, that she had a boyfriend who told her to go on the show.
That you can't get a bigger red flag.
And he was like, so I'm just wondering about that.
Like, what the biggest red flag?
The biggest red flag, the fact that she is superficial and she is dating someone. This is what they're doing. But I don't even think that it was because she had a boyfriend, because I think that if it had been a cute white boy on the other side of that, I think she would have been fine with it. She would have went all the way, because, and the reason I say this is because after she saw him, and he said in an interview, in fact, I'm going to play this. Well, let me play this. Let me show this clip. This is how she broke up with him. This is how she broke up. She said, I just can't do this. And then she straddled him and tongued him down. So I don't think the boyfriend had anything to do with why she did what she did.
Good point. Because
if she did, she would, if you are in a relationship with someone and you're trying to, thank you so much, Tammy, for, hey, this show is crazy. After watching this, you may want to go back and check it out. Just certain parts, because this little wild. She saw him a couple of hours after the reveal. She went to production and told production that she was not attracted to him. This is her talking to production after she sees him.
How you feeling?
I just unfortunately don't think like my attraction to him is gonna grow that much.
So she said, I just don't think my attraction to him is gonna grow that much. And then she did this.
He should at least hit it. Get something out of it.
I don't think he was gonna be. How was he gonna be able to do that?
Oh, he would have been there.
How?
God, did they teach you this in school?
Oh.
I mean, you don't.
I'm asking. No, because okay, hold on. This is Patrick after. This is Patrick after all of it happened. This is him explaining. He still does not get it.
It's like if I'm not physically attracted to you, it's like so much easier to just tell me rather than like string it on. And it's okay to like say that, hey, I just tried to experiment. I wanted to see where it was going to go. It doesn't work for me. Like that would be like way more honorable. I have to give her a little bit of grace just because like she's like trying not to break my heart because she cares. I think she really cares, but she can't tell me. And it's so hard for her to tell.
Oh, God, poor Patrick.
Patrick says she cares.
Patrick lives in a pineapple under the sea. That's the problem. No, I just think that
bless his heart.
I think that he's one of those guys, and this is where
good point. Good point.
Experience, like with these things, and people take advantage of people like him because
yes.
She could come in and out his life if she wanted to.
She doesn't want to.
No, you know what I'm saying? But she could play with him to use him or whatever the case may be because he still don't get it.
He said that she went to production 2 hours after seeing him and said, I don't.
She
didn't even sleep on it. She immediately, and she said she could not. Now think about this. We know that Kacie wanted to be on TV. She was that disgusted with his looks that she turned down going to Mexico. Because most of them want to be on, they want as much TV time as possible.
Okay.
2 hours later, she was physically moved to go. Now, my point is, even though she was so disgusted that she could not go to Mexico, she still tongued him down. Because that picture that I posted, this went on for like 10 minutes. It was the craziest thing. She actually left and came back, jumped up on him and wrapped her legs around him again and kept kissing him. So if she could do all of that for the camera, but she did not have the wherewithal to go to Mexico, that just lets you know how unattracted she was to him. But I want to point this out. There was a video, and I should have pulled this, of Rick Ross out with one of his new girlfriends. And he goes to kiss the girl, and the girl pulls her head back, like she doesn't want to kiss him in public because she's obviously kissed him in private, right? And she's hugging him and he's touching all on her. But I just want to say this to men, and you are the representation for men tonight. Women, Kacie is proof that women can do anything necessary. It doesn't mean that they're attracted to you just because they allow you to have freedom with them intimately. It has nothing to do with that. A lot of women will be intimate by any means necessary. I had a girlfriend that said she was sleeping with this man that was blind, an old man that was blind because he was paying her rent. And she said it was light work. Now, and you know, it was over quick, but she was not attracted to him. And I've heard men say, well, she must have liked it. We have got to dispel this myth tonight.
But I will always tell you the same thing about people in relationships. And you'd be like, well, they there. There's a lot of people that go to jobs that they don't like every day because they got to get some stuff done.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Kacie proved she told production, I just don't think I can, I'm just not attracted, there's nothing I can do. And then she proceeded to act the harlot with him right outside. And I think that the reason that Patrick still today, that interview was from last week of him saying that she cared. I think the reason he can't, because it's something in his brain that's not computing, because she was so affectionate with him. She was touching his face. She was wrapping herself around him. She leads with sexuality. And a lot of times men confuse that for real, genuine.
A lot of times.
Most times.
Yeah. Because to us, it's like, this is so unnecessary. You don't, if that's the case, you don't have to do this.
But no one said Lazarus rose. But I mean, I just think that is important for us to talk about, because women do a lot. Women, you know, men trick women a lot, but we also have to acknowledge that women do a lot of faking when it comes to Lady Danbury. Indeed, DeQueasy, indeed. For any of you all that have watched Bridgerton, that poor girl putting in that work for the title and the security for her family. But you're right. Tammy said, if this were a man, we would be cursing him out. That is true. We do need to talk about this.
There you go.
We do need to talk about the fact that that if that hold on.
Listen, y'all, don't be like this lady. I'm just telling y'all. No, I mean, it's not, but it happens every day. They're telling you they're doing it on social media every day. So this shouldn't be so much of a shot that she's done, because you're hearing women say this on social media every day. They make songs about it. You know, it's just, we're looking at another culture do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do think let's talk about the fact that there are a lot of things that women get away with that men cannot. And we do have to say this.
And vice versa.
Yeah. But I'm talking about on television, because if a man does certain things, they'll get canceled. They will. I mean, it'll be crazy for them online. Even if, let's just say, if a man had really taken advantage of a woman intimately, and like he was all over her and kissing her and all that, if that was reversed, it would probably be people boycotting the show. Like, it would be a whole lot different.
Look what y'all did to Cam. And that was light work, like you said, compared to this.
Not Cam. That's told that.
No. See, he didn't even do all that on camera. And
he didn't. But that's true. Cam compared to Kacie definitely got Cam by far. But I think even I also feel like what's her name? Hold on. I'm sorry. Work is on my phone, and I'm trying to not be distracted, but I am.
She's a Caucasian woman held in a certain light. America's sweetheart, all this, the blonde, yada yada, and they're not going to let them be held accountable for a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it time and time again, courtroom stuff and judges hugging people that kill people and all this other stuff. Like, you got to understand what we're dealing with. So, you know, they're only going to have so much anger towards her or whatever. You know, maybe if it was white guys, white to white, maybe, but no one cares, unfortunately.
But I feel like we should give her some hate online. I feel like we should give her some more hate even tonight, because it went even further. I feel like when I read she did an interview with People Magazine. And in this interview with People Magazine, she said that she was hurt as well. She did not think that it was fair that basically Patrick was making himself into the victim. She said that she was hurt also, and this is something that she learned. She also refused to give the ring back.
Yeah, she's in there for a whole nother reason. Yeah.
But she's entitled in a whole different way. Like, and I feel like social media should really go in on her even more than they are. I feel like she did not take accountability for anything. She basically made it seem like she was a victim. She said she didn't go into it. She learned about her. She didn't go into it wanting to hurt anybody. She was hoping she would find love. She said that she was not really in a relationship. She said that, listen to her interview. It says, was Patrick always your top choice in the pods? She says, yes, day one. I have in my notebook, Patrick was my number 2. He was always in the top for me. But I don't actually, then she said also Blake, but it was pretty much Patrick. And she said, I don't really think that you got to see our connection as much as I would have loved to, but we connected on so many levels of travel, being full of life, being well-rounded, wanting to do all these things together and live a full life. I really loved how well he spoke. That sounds like stuff they say to Black people. Y'all realize that? How well, you ever heard that you're well-spoken to be a Black person?
Oh, yeah.
That whole thing. I really loved how well he spoke and how much he was a hard worker. And there was so much about him that I was just taking. Hold on.
In the words of When in Rome, girl, bye. I am so sorry, guys. I just have a big project that just wrapped, and we're trying to make sure everything is good. And it's usually not this late, but it is all happening tonight. But she basically is trying to make herself into the victim. She said he was basically, she was surprised that he had spoke well. She said this is the biggest ick of her life. It's hard to watch. She told her mom not to watch it. She said she comes from a Mormon background, but yet she was talking about her landing strip in the pods. She said, now I'm going to be known as the girl that had a lot of sexy talk on a day. So this is not my favorite thing.
And she said, they asked, looking back on the reveal, do you remember things feeling off? And she said, I just remember feeling like this is a stranger in my arms right now. You do unfortunately kind of picture what they look like, maybe who this person is going to be. And then I saw him and I was like, oh.
Somebody had a similar experience.
Someone else did have a similar experience, and it ended in a horrible breakup. She said that this is a stranger. I started to crash out. I started to realize this was a serious thing. How do you realize that now? She said, I was just like, no, we're going to take this to the altar. And at that moment, I just could not do that. She said the boyfriend was not real. She didn't have a boyfriend, but she also said that she learned about herself that looks are important. So obviously she says that she learned that love is not blind. I think this whole show, this whole series just proves that love is not blind at all.
Apparently it's deaf. She done set enough red flags. I mean,
I do not understand. I don't know why they didn't ask her. Okay, they asked her why was she kissing him like that? And she said, because I felt comfort in his arms.
That all it takes.
So when do you think he could have actually pushed it and got more from that, Mo?
I don't know. The more I think about it, I think it was more for the cameras. It wasn't even for him.
No, it wasn't for him. There was no way. I think she's dramatic and she wanted to be dramatic, right? She's definitely she definitely probably is one of the most talked about people this season. She also talked a lot about her looks and how, she knew that he was going to be happy when he saw her. And I think most guys probably would find her attractive. She's skinny and blonde and blue-eyed. She did have a lot of extensions in her hair. A lot of them girls. Did you see Madison take out her extension?
And leave them on the counter.
The bathroom counter. And Joe was just like,
yes, I did.
It was getting worse and worse. Worse and worse. So
that was another uncomfortable couple to watch. It was a few because when they come out from both ends and you could just read it. It's not love is not blind. Love is not blind, because when that door opens up, let's just go through. Well, first of all, let's talk about Edmund. Let's talk about Edmund and KB now that we've talked about Patrick and Kacie. I still say we still should continue dogging Kacie, because that is bad. That is not that she's definitely not one of us, but I just feel like for women should not tolerate that, because again, in the words of Tammy, if that had been a man, we would have went in. They would have been getting, Netflix would have been getting beat down with negativity if that was the case. So I feel like we should definitely send more bad energy towards Kacie. You cannot get off with keeping the ring and telling us that you just understood that that looks are more important to you than not. You purposely treated him badly. You lied in his face. You wrapped your legs around his waist for no reason. You didn't have to do all that kissing and PDA if you weren't into it like that. So I just feel like we should continue to share. If you're watching this in the replay, share in the comments, because that's crazy. That was wild. You're right.
That was wild. All right, let's move on to Calabria and Edmund. I will say Edmund has a beautiful smile, and that's all I'll say right now. Mo?
Oh boy. First of all, she is beautiful.
Okay.
She's too young for me, but she is beautiful. Man, he's goofy and silly, and I didn't see it, man. Even amongst the men, you see how he's laying on the floor, and the dude was like,
You got your mouth on this floor? It's been nastier.
yeah, that part. That part. He was just drawing attention to himself and getting and running, sprinting stances. And even his voice sounds a little quirky. And I'm like, she didn't even pick up on that. But she seems very open. But here's the catch. And this one gets a lot of people, the men in. Well, people in. A story. A good, heartfelt story.
That's true. That's true. But she is a social worker.
Right.
So I felt like she probably has, I feel like people are their jobs, right? You know me, most of my life, I was an entertainment publicist, but I will tell you guys, before I was a publicist professionally, I was always the person that with my friends, I'll be like, oh, well, you should do it this way. It's just who I am. I like to make things look a certain way. That's just who I am. And it works for my job, but people really are usually their jobs, right? So I think that her being a social worker, she probably has empathy for people that are, he does have, it wasn't just a good story. It is a heartbreaking story, right? When the very first day in the pods, before they even went into the pods in the men's lounge, when Nick comes in and is asking all the guys why they're there, he mentions that he grew up in foster care, that he, lived with different people in foster care. He didn't really have a family, and that he was looking for a family of his own. He almost teared up right then. So I remember thinking, yikes, not that people that have that experience don't need love. I think they do, but I think they need to get therapy first. And it was clear to me just by him tearing up and mentioning that as soon as someone spoke to him, as in the very first scene, the fact that he is that sensitive to it, I feel like he wasn't ready to be on a show, and he probably isn't ready to be married or in a long-term relationship. He still has some work to do. So I think how he acted, I don't know why he was licking the floor. I don't understand why he was licking the floor. But if you realize that Brennan said to him, you're putting your mouth on the floor, and he said, it's been nastier places. And I feel like, well, and I wasn't even thinking of with a girl. I was just thinking of he's had a very hard upbringing, right? And so he's managed to overcome the odds. But sometimes when people overcome odds, it leaves them with a lot of wounds that still need to heal. Just because you overcome the odds doesn't mean that you don't have gaping wounds that need to heal. You could still be bleeding all over.
I think this is another case, and it might be for everyone that even joined. The more and more I think about this, it's another case to me of acceptance. And then, like you said, you got someone in her position, because some people in these positions are numb to stories.
Yeah.
But she didn't seem to be, because she was there for a reason. But for her, I would have thought that she saw red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was like, my rollerblade community.
Hold on, Nola, thank you for the super chat. She says, she's speaking of Kacie, she hides behind his shenanigans because she's a villain too. Oh, you're talking about Calabria, because she's a villain too, or she just disengaged. Reminds me of a couple from Huntsville. I question her ethics. That's interesting, because I do feel like in a couple of later episodes that you haven't seen, she got some energy that I was like, whoa, what's that about? Tina says, Mo, I see every day on the job people that look like they're normal, but in actuality, there's some mental instability going on. I agree.
Oh, 1,000%.
But I think with her, and I told you this when we were talking the other day, I think that when you have been treated badly by certain type of men, and she mentioned, even her friend said, man, he's totally different, but that's what she needs. A lot of times we look for the extreme opposite. And instead of going to the extreme opposite, we need to heal. Because I think that whatever happened to her in past relationships, there's a few things about her that are red flags to me.
Okay.
things about Edmund, but his are on the surface. Hers are a little deeper. The fact that she said, and we're going to talk about the scene where they're in bed together in Mexico, and she says that with other men that she's been with that she didn't want anything from, she would have a one-night stand with them. But if she wants something from the relationship, then she makes the man wait. A lot of women have this mentality, and it is ass backwards.
Shame on y'all.
No,
the women.
No, you can't say shame on us.
I'm saying the women that do it.
I'm just saying men shouldn't say that, because that's more men do it than women. But I'm saying there are some women that feel like that I can do this, and they basically are trying to mimic men. I don't really care. I'm just getting mine. But it really is not right, because why would you give your body to someone that you know doesn't care about you, and then hold it from someone that you think does? I'm not saying she should have been with Edmund, because it definitely, please don't do that with Edmund ever. But the fact that she said that and she felt like it made sense is a problem. And she said that she also said that she doesn't look at sex, she doesn't see it the same way that he does. It's not that big a deal to her. She said it wasn't, and she knew basically that he was more emotional, and so that's why she didn't do it. So that, to me, that means that she's not healed and she's not okay. That makes no sense.
Excuse because she didn't want to do it? She wasn't attracted to him?
It could have been, but the fact that she would say that she would admit on a camera that she would have sex with men that she wasn't that into, to me, because I think that means that you don't really understand the value of your body and your intimacy, right? Because if you do, then you would not give it to somebody that doesn't care, and you would care. It wouldn't be something that you don't care about like that.
You're right. I can see that. But let me ask you this: when you have a person that's in his position, right, or even Patrick's position, this is something that doesn't get talked about. When you lay that on someone, and now let's say for whatever other reason they might not be interested, you put them in a weird space. We never talk about that side.
What do you mean?
You're coming in early, laying it on thick.
Love bombing.
And then, no, but it's in a real situation. Like you're just telling your heartfelt story. I just met you. Now, I could not like you for something totally different or not be interested. But now, weighing on me, the fact that you told me that, now I got to tell you this.
I agree with you 100%. I also think another example of that. Oh, hold on. Another example of that was Madison and Joe, because Madison was telling him that she is gonna go blind.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
And I'm like, yo, like, why are you putting that out there? And he just was looking like, oh my God, like, so I need somebody that can be with me when I start to go blind. I sometimes run into walls.
Now what is he supposed to do?
I'm gonna be the villain.
Right.
I'm gonna be the villain regardless.
This what I'm saying. Like, you put that, if you want somebody to really judge you for you, it's like not for what you have or what you're going. Like, things happen, and I guess being blind will become part of you at some point if that's the case. But just remember, like, people with a heart now, they got to make up some other excuse because they don't. It's tough, or they got to try to fake it through or wing it off or whatever. When you lay something, I've had heavy stuff laid on me the first date, and I'm just like, oh Lord, how am I going to get out of this?
Well, I think with all these cases, I think Edmund, I think that happened on another couple of episodes. But I also think this. I think when you are behind a wall and you're talking to somebody that you can't see, you probably feel more comfortable because you can let your guard down because they're not looking at you to judge you, right? So it probably does give a false sense of security to share, because all those pod conversations get real deep. My dad,
Remember the girl I told you that put her daughter on the phone after the third conversation? It was like, "Are you gonna hurt my mommy?"
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. But you know, people are going through stuff.
How would you put that little girl on the phone and ask me that?
That's, you know what I call that? I call that emotional manipulation. Because she knows that you're a nice guy for the most part. Nice guy for the most part. And she's trying to use, a lot of people don't trust that someone would actually just fall in love with them, right? So they try to use things to manipulate the situation. I.e., I'm going blind. I will even say this, even in this situation with Jordan and Sparkle Megan, even him talking about his son, like his son that has diabetes.
Yes.
That and I understand that's a part of who you are as a parent, but saying we need you, I don't know you. Right. That's great. And I don't think people do it on purpose, but I think a lot of times it is done because they're trying to control the situation, and it is emotionally manipulative. Because specifically when that lady did that to you, I'm like, she's trying to make you stay based on almost guilting you into it. Same thing with Joe and Madison. You're telling somebody that you're going to go blind, that you just met, and that you want to find love because you're going to go blind.
See, man, that's tough. Like, I don't know if anybody's been in these positions, but it's tough.
Well, you also had a woman tell you about a diagnosis early, like the first date, right?
Yeah, yes. I'll be feeling bad, and sometimes they buy a couple days. Because I'm like, I can't tell her today.
I did have a situation where a person I was dating had a stroke, and I ended up staying because sometimes what can happen is you get caught up in helping. Like naturally I like to help people. I have a big heart. So when that happened, I just totally went into help mode. And then after it was over, I was like, I don't like you and you don't like me. I was just trying to help, right? But I think that's why you should not get with people. Like, first of all, oversharing, that's oversharing. This is a show, so it's manipulative in itself. The production is manipulative in itself. But I think that I know for myself, like, I would not share certain things with people because first of all, you don't want to lay all that on someone. Like you said, that's heavy. It's heavy to lay on somebody. And unless they are already going to be a part of your life, it's really unfair to put all that on them. I think. I don't like it. I remember I was dating this guy. I didn't really like him that much. It was just, I didn't really like anybody like the first 4 or 5 years after my divorce, maybe 3 or 4. I didn't really but I was dating this guy, and he called me in the middle of the night. And he was like, he said, what are we going to do? I was like, woke up. I was like, what's wrong? He was like, what are we going to do? My sister just got arrested. We got to go get her out of, and I was like, we? I won't share the particulars, but I will tell y'all 30 minutes later, I was back asleep. I was not going down there to do that. I don't know. We're not there. Don't do that. Don't do that. 30 minutes later, I was turning over and back in La La Land. No, we're not there. He said, what do we got to go get, man. Okay, hold on. F Your Feelings says, I feel the opposite. If you have any type of health related issues, I want to know. That's not for me, and I'm out. But do you feel like they should tell you that early?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I think you should tell people. I just don't think I told y'all on the first date, this guy told me he was impotent after being in an accident. I guess that was good for him to tell me that then, but.
Make sure they like you first before you start dropping the heavy stuff, man.
Make sure they like you first. Now I do want to talk about this. So let's go back to Edmund and deep. What is it? LB. Yeah, LB. Whatever. Yeah.
K,
What?
K something, ain't it?
KB.
Yeah.
Is it KB? All right. So their situation, I don't know how much you saw, Mo, but when they get to the honeymoon, I mean not well, the little vacation, he keeps wanting her to say that he keeps saying, say something nice. You don't say anything nice. He really is he's not okay. He really is very sensitive. He cries a lot. And hey, Larry, he just, it's a lot. But I will say this, after seeing his mom comes to meet Calabria, and his mom has the same personality. Now, his mother, and I say this with all due respect, we know that she dealt with some substance abuse issues, right?
Sure.
She dealt with some substance abuse issues. So he has grown up the child of, and she has several children, and at some point she did not have them. And he also said that she tried to make him feel bad. Sometimes, like they have a dysfunctional relationship. Even if she's probably working on it being better, but just because you were not raised by your parent and now your parent is back in your life trying to parent or trying to have a relationship, there's going to be issues. But when I tell y'all, if you have not seen that far where Calabria meets his mom has the same exact personality. She says, she's sweet. She was like, let me meet my daughter-in-law. And then she says, and I told my boys, if she ain't mom worthy, then don't bring her home. She goes mean for a second. Then she comes back and starts crying. And she's like, it's the same unhinged, polarizing personality that Edmund has. I don't know why Calabria did not want. She told her, she said, she got these beads with her, beads for her. She said, I got you a gift. She brought her like some waist beads from Africa. And she said, will you put them on me? She said, I'm going to have Edmund do that. So that's something special between y'all. And she said, but you will go to Ghana with me. I was like, lady, not be going to Ghana with you. I would not be going to Ghana with you. But but you see exactly where he got that unhinged personality from, because one minute he's super goofy and super sweet. The next minute he's crying. Then he's running all over. And I will say this, if you look at his Instagram, I looked up his Instagram, it's the same unhinged personality. Because I was like, how is he working? He's an actual real estate agent. But it works because people like watching, foolishness.
He's rollerblading on there?
He is. He likes to rollerblade.
That's what he said. The people embrace him though, because he said my community, I think people who move like that or they need a community, and he found his tribe.
But I also what concerns me about Edmund, not so much, and I was happy to see when they showed him and the grooms getting his tux that he did have another black man there. That seemed very normal. He just seems like he also grew up in a predominantly white space. And I feel like when you come from, dysfunction and pain, and then you're the only black in a predominantly white space, it could be very, very difficult. And yes, Love is Mimi, he does have the Afro pick when he sells real estate. The Afro pick is one of his signatures. It's in there. It's definitely in there.
He's Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at the quirkiness. Yeah. It's the emotional, extremes. Yeah, that's scary to me. Because when I first saw him start crying, he went out with the guys, the guys got together, all the other guys had been intimate. Even Joe, who was not attracted to Madison, they were all.
All right, Joe.
They all were getting it in. Edmund and Calabia are the only ones that were not intimate. So then he starts crying and says, "You just gave your body to those other men, and I'm giving you everything, and you're giving me nothing." And he just starts crying. I thought at that moment, he may kill her.
Somebody said Norbit. That's a good one.
But he just, that type of unhinged personality, I don't, let me not say that. Let me take that back. I'll strike that from the record. It just feels unsafe. Those type of emotions at that extreme feel unsafe. I shouldn't have said, I was joking. I shouldn't joke with that kind of word, but I don't feel like that's safe. If that was my daughter, I would physically get her out of there. I just don't, I feel like when a person can go from 0 to 100, run, that is scary.
You think casting knows this?
I do feel like that.
And do they therapy after the show? How they had and people kind of talk to people to decompress? Love is Blind has been sued for the way that they do things, keeping people sequestered and not giving them much. Obviously, there was a lot of drinking happening, but also not having the appropriate therapy and stuff on set when people are really dealing with stuff. But to me, he was an irresponsible casting, because even though he is successful at his job, at least from what we see on social media, his energy and all the different things that he kept doing on camera, how he would shut down, he would start crying, he's defensive, he's deflective. It just doesn't feel healthy to me. They have a therapist on site, but obviously I don't even know if they do, because like I said, they have got a lot of lawsuits. And I think reality TV is just it's not some place for people that have mental issues. But unfortunately, it's also one of the best places, because you could potentially get that validation that you're seeking if you go on television. He's a nice looking guy. What cost though?
At what cost? And I do feel like him being cast, all jokes aside, I do feel like him being cast was irresponsible on the casting director's part, because there is no way he got through interviews without this craziness coming through.
That's why I asked that. How did he even get to that point? Because you can see it, and you say you see it on the social media. It's like, I think you're playing with that, and like that. I'm starting to think they pick people, not, they don't want to pick all matching people that they know that's going to match.
They don't. But they pick so many people that come in there, and a lot of them never even we don't see a lot of the stories. It's probably some actual love matches or normal people that we don't see, because a lot of people in the pod you don't even ever see. You know what I mean? Like, you just see them in the lounge.
Because it was like Black Girls, but they only showed one.
Yeah. So I agree, Tabby. They pick these people on purpose. It does make for good TV, but like you said, at what cost? I think when you see someone licking the ground, they don't need to be on that show. And I guess he was eating his boogers.
What the? I don't know. I saw him running to like sprint run. He was just like a kid bouncing around the room, and I don't know.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. I could not understand why they cast him on that show. I feel like she actually starts going in on him, and it feels like, we'll talk a little bit more about this next week. It doesn't feel like she's healthy either. Because just because you are a mental health professional doesn't mean your own mental health is in a great place. It really doesn't. And I've also heard people that are therapists also need therapy.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So him eating his stuff out of his nose and licking the floor, but to me, just that in itself is not somebody that needs to be on a reality show. That's really like, it's irresponsible for them to put him with another person, because if something were to happen to her, and I'm not saying he's a bad person, I'm just saying that type of behavior is scary because you don't know what he will do if he's angry.
That part.
It's just, you know, or if he feels like he's hurt. We don't, if you'll lick the floor, I don't know what you'll do. I don't know. If you will lick a floor that everybody is walking on all day long, I don't know what you will do if you're angry or you feel hurt, you know.
But the like, I mean, and I'm not comparing him to Anthony Perkins or whatever, but in the movie Psycho.
Yeah. Actually, Sadie said, Calabria says she slept on the balcony that night. I don't even know how she got to the point of this fact, except like I said, sometimes you can experience so much hurt through one type of personality that you can feel like you want something totally different. And you could feel like he's sweet. I want to help him. I think it goes both ways. It's not just women. Men do it too. You want to save the person, or your dysfunction matches up with their dysfunction. They may be more openly dysfunctional, but it's some things in you that are not right either that would even make you attracted to that person.
I'm trying to think, do I know any guys who'd be like, yo, I'm going to just go total opposite? And I'm trying to think if I ever heard that from a guy.
Women do it all the time. In fact, there's several women on the show doing that.
Oh, yeah. I've heard women say it, but guys,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Not that extreme.
Well, what's your theory, Nola? Post it so I can put it on here. Nola says she has a theory. That I think that she is her past relationships, and you know, when she put on the wedding gown, she was like, oh, I feel like a virgin. Like, I think that she probably, even though she's, I knew you were gonna laugh at that. I wasn't being funny though. I think sometimes, okay, I see what you're saying, Nola. I think that sometimes women are doing things and they don't really feel good about it. So you want to start over again, and you want to, I think she's trying to start fresh, but this is not the way to do it. Mo?
So is it kind of like, because I had this theory that every time a woman be like, you know what, I'm celibate, she just got finished doing something. That's just my theory. Is it one of those? Is it?
No, Mo. I think that she felt like, you know, she has been, it's probably hurtful. She probably has some hurt in her past. Hey, Ashley. She has some hurt in her past. We're talking about Calabria and Edmund. And because I'm saying her friends were like, this is probably better for her because of her past. And women are notorious for saying,
don't fret. But they would know, because, you know, we always talk about patterns of people, right?
Right.
And I mean, if you keep bumping your head on the same thing, then obviously you got to figure something else out.
So Effie, we all got pain. We do. But see, that's when you don't heal from your pain, that you run from it. That's what it is. This is the definition of running from your pain. And you done ran to a man that is licking the floor and throwing fits, and it's just not good. It's not good. It's not good. It says she don't want to be a city girl no more. She don't, but she is. I mean, not a city girl, because you can't really be, well, yeah, you can. But I think she just wants to be with someone that would treat her right. But this is not it.
But I don't think you have to go to that extreme.
You don't. I'm saying you go to extremes when you're not healed. Because I've even heard women say they go to another woman.
That's an extreme.
It definitely is. But look at this. Now, this extreme, I think this one may work. Y'all may disagree with me. What?
You got a wild extreme. Not you, but you say a wild extreme. And you said women sometimes will run to a woman.
Yeah, I think that I've heard women say this.
But you even said, which I don't believe, you was like, I believe that's how some men are. They'll turn to women because maybe they're just hurt so much by women that they was like, that's.
I think there are people on both sides that get rejected and have so much heartbreak, they just want to be loved, and they just will go to the other side.
I don't believe that about me. I
I'm laughing. It's true. I mean, it's serious, bro.
If it's true with men, they wanted to go over there. They just needed an excuse.
Okay, but let me ask you this. What if a man just cannot get a woman to take him seriously? Like he cannot, like women just don't seem to like him.
He would just have to pay for it.
You can't pay for love. You can't pay for companionship.
That's what I'm saying. Companionship. You just have to pay for it and feel love for those hours or whatever the cost is.
That's not love. You know you're not being loved.
Yeah, but what else you going to do? I don't believe that you can just totally flip and go to the, if that wasn't already in you.
I don't know, maybe not, but I think I don't want to say too much because we don't want to get in trouble, but I do think there are some people that they are so lonely and so broken that they will flip to the other side.
Oof. Yeah, like women, I've heard the stories, but
maybe they're on the border. I don't know, but I do think people get desperate. I think everybody has a basic human need to feel loved and valued.
That I do believe. Like, make it an imaginary friend or something, girlfriend.
You cannot be loved by an imaginary friend. No. Let's talk about Megan and Jordan, because this is also an extreme, right? Megan is very well off.
Right.
Jordan is
not
and has a son. Now, a couple things with this couple. First of all, the more I watch Megan, the more I like her. I thought that she was going to be the typical quote unquote alpha female that was focused on her job. And she did come in leading with what she does, what she has, but she did. Gumboss said, find you an AI boyfriend or girlfriend. So maybe men would do that. Maybe men would get a AI girlfriend, but I'll take that because there are people in China sleeping with robots at this point.
I might be one of them in a minute, but go ahead.
But Megan, she's very accomplished, but I do think she really truly wants love. I also think she's running from something. She says all the guys she's had before are accomplished and cocky. And so when she meets Mike in the pause, even though she is attracted to him because that's what she's used to, she goes for something totally different, which is Jordan. Now, I didn't think that was going to work. I actually believe that at first, for a long time, I was like, she should have picked Mike. But Mike is real cocky, and I don't think he's genuine. Even how he tried to throw salt when they met up afterwards, I don't like him. Jordan, I like the two of them together, and I think that she's genuine. Two things. She is talking about buying a $2 million house and moving Jordan in and his son. And he was honest. He said that he does not feel like any average blue collar man would feel comfortable. He doesn't want to feel like she's carrying him. That was a red flag because he was very honest in his confessional. And he was like, basically, there's nothing that he can bring to that table. When he heard the number, when they were with the realtor, and she was like, I'm thinking like 1.5 for my other house, and I can put that down and we can have a $2 million house. And then you and I both can finance the other 500,000. He was like, I got to be honest with you. I appreciate Jordan. Jordan was honest. He was like, I'm not going to have the other half. I'm not going to have my half of the 500,000. He was like, that's not realistically. So I didn't look at the numbers. And she was like, well, okay, I don't want you to feel like you have to. But then he said that he will not feel comfortable with a woman that is carrying him. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem later. Also, on the Mexico trip, he's immature. He's a lot more immature than she is. I think she wants love. And I think after losing her father, she's, you know, some things can happen in our lives that can trigger us to want family or to feel like we belong. And I think that her losing her father reminded her that she wants her own family. You could tell she's very close to her family. The fact that her father had type 1 diabetes, his son does. Feeling needed is also a thing that all of us have, women and men. They say men need to feel needed. Women need to feel needed as well, right? I think humans want to feel needed. So when people say, well, I don't need you, I want you. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we all want to feel like that person needs us. So I think Megan
want to be it by the one that you love. Like for him saying that, if he's in love with her, which I don't really think none of these people are actually in love.
Right.
But if he was in love with her, then the circumstances would be like you want to be needed by the person you love, not just be needed by some random person or some person. Yeah. So you're right. I just think the order of it sometimes gets misplaced.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree. You want the person that you want, and then you want them to need you. It should happen in that order as opposed to need and then and then want, because that sometimes the want may never happen. And you'd be like Rick Ross trying to kiss a girl that don't want to kiss you.
That part, there you go.
Yeah. Somebody asked, do you think that he's attracted to her? Mo, what do you think? Do you think that Jordan is really attracted to Megan?
It doesn't. I'll be honest. It doesn't come across like he's really like excited like the other brother was. I'm trying to remember his name.
Mike.
Right, with him and his lady, how they were really.
Oh no. I think this couple is the most attracted. Anton and is it Allie?
Anton and Allie, yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think he's most attracted to her.
You want that, but I think the fact that she's willing to accept the son, I don't think he's bad, but I would assume that everybody wants to be attracted to the person they're with, at least. But the premise of the show is to without that. And he get there, I don't think he was disappointed or anything like that, but it's the energy behind it. Like when you meet that person, you come through the they come through and they meet in the middle and they hug, and pay attention to people's reactions in their face, and then they're slow. Yeah, let me process this.
Whenever they say let me process, it's a no. Y'all remember when Clay and AD came through that when Clay came through and he just couldn't.
That might be the most obvious one.
That was a pretty bad one. But I do think that Madison and Joe was pretty bad, because he was like, I'm just processing. I'm just processing.
Yeah. I'm just hearing the voice over here, then see trying to put it together.
And then when they were in the pool and he was like, I'm still trying to put it together. It's not there yet. And she was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm here. It's us.
Let me tell you something. She gained about 20 pounds by the time they got to the pool. I don't know what it was.
She's not big. I think she just built.
No, in the pool, I saw it. I saw her chin and her neck connect. I don't know, man. He wasn't happy. He wasn't a happy camper. But obviously, I ain't gonna say what he needed to do, but he did the thing.
Eventually, he did. He did tell the camera, "I'm used to a smaller woman, but it's okay." That was the most uncomfortable. I know that hurt her feelings so bad when she watched that. That was hard to watch, because he was just stuttering. He was like, that sounds bad, but I'm just used to being with smaller. But it's okay. I mean, we're here to do something different on this show. We just like stop.
It was getting worse.
It was. It's the way it's built. It's the building of it. It's the building blocks of it all. But yeah, I think their families. I like Jordan and Megan's families, but I just think eventually, I don't think he's going to feel comfortable being with her because she's so far ahead. I do think that she really it could potentially work. No, it can't. Because if you guys remember in Mexico, when she was like, "You're annoying me," and he was like, "Whoa," Um, that's just kind of, I wish she wouldn't have said it so harshly. That's just her. When you're a businesswoman, you talk very straight. And he's very immature. Him and Joe were clowning back and forth. That was weird. I don't know what that was about. Just weird white boy banner. But I think that she's a lot more mature than he is. And once you get past the butterflies and stuff, it's just not going to be realistic for life, unfortunately.
That's very true. And take it from a guy who's been in this position a few times. It's not a good position to be. It's all fun and butterflies in the beginning.
Yeah, and she probably feels like, I don't mind if he moves into my $2 million house. Then 30 days go by, she's just gonna be looking at him. And when all the bills are coming out of her, she gonna be like,
hey, what did Gabrielle Union say recently?
Oh, she said she cheated because she paid all the bills.
And there you have it.
Yeah, I can see, but I do like the fact that she shut Mike down, because Mike was trying to shake her, but I don't think he really Mike is just used to winning, and that's another characteristic of ambitious people. Sometimes it's not even what they want; it's the fact that they want to win at everything.
There you go, and I just thought he just came in there, because Mike was like, "Yeah, I got the." It's like they're saying what they have in their accomplishments, and then they're trying to downplay it real quick.
Yeah, but he wanted to throw it out there so she would catch it.
There you go.
Yeah, but she's going to be annoyed because he's very immature. And when you see his immaturity is when he gets around other men his age. Him and Nick and Joe, all immature.
But a lot of men, when they get around close partners, well, I don't know if these guys are close, but when they get around, that's why, like, yo, my boys, not yo, me and my mans, and it's my boys.
It is. They are. But I think the white boy shenanigans are a little different. But you're right. Most men, when they get together, they are like big kids.
Yeah. But
when in Rome said Nick isn't immature, they just don't like him. Nobody likes Nick. Nobody likes Nick. Nick. The way Nick broke up with Annie was
okay.
One of the most cold-hearted breakups ever. Nick, they said Nick was strategic. First of all, when Nick took her to his house, Nick is loaded. Nick is loaded. He got money. He's privileged. The typical privileged boy. And he was just playing. He was playing. Annie was very insecure. But this is what I want to say to women. A lot of times when you're insecure with a man, it's your instinct telling you this is not right. If you try to fight through the instinct, you're going to be insecure.
I like that.
She knew that Nick wasn't really, her instinct was telling her he wasn't really there for her. And then she was like, but I love you. I love you. I mean, and first of all, on this show, I don't even want to hear I love you anymore. Like they said, but I love you. It's just
so quickly.
I was like, stop saying that. I love you, but I love you. I love you too, babe. I love you. I love you too, babe. I just love you so much.
They talk to each other in the pods as if, the one dude was like, I think I love you. Who? What?
Yeah, she will be grateful that she left Nick alone. And I was wondering how she felt about the fact that nobody liked Nick. Nick was very self-serving. He's a typical privileged young 28-year-old boy from Denver. Typical, super typical. Everything is about him, using everything, figuring out everything that's going to work in his favor. I didn't necessarily think he was very attracted to her, honestly. That's a very airbrushed picture of her. But I think her insecurities, I don't think that her insecurities drove him away. I think that her insecurities were, like I said, her intuition letting her know that Nick was full of it. Because even how he handled the things in the pod, like he just switched up with who he thought was going to be the best fit for him. Because you texted me, you're like, Nick is full of it. I was like, he is. He really.
Yeah, Nick was laying on thick, then put back. I was like, oh Lord.
He just switched when the one girl didn't say what he wanted. He switched up and was landing on so thick.
That's what I'm saying. To everybody, he had to like. So come on, man. Everybody.
Yeah. And then I forget the other girl's name that came over that he was talking to. She was like, "But you said you love me," and then he just cut it off with her so quick.
Was that Kate?
Kate, yes, Kate. When she came to, she's like, "You just said you love me," and then what I don't like is when they throw shade at the other person. He threw shade on Annie, and then he flipped it, and then he was like, "There's no way I can get to be at this level with her that I am with you." What? And then he flipped it, and then she found out they were engaged. He was self-serving the whole time. She was extremely insecure, but I'm telling you, she knew that dude was not really into her, and she was just hoping. She was just hoping, wishing and praying. She did beg her. She did beg him. So the scene when he tells her that he doesn't want it, it was so cold. It was so cold, almost like Detroit. He told her that she was just not the one for him and that this was not going to work. And because of what she was saying, and she was like, "But why can't you I don't need you to tell me no. I don't need you to tell me no or tell me yes." He was like, "Well, you can't make me marry you." I was like, "Oh, well."
Direct, just like you said. What's the name was? What's the lady that was with
Megan.
Very direct. And
he said, "You're annoying me." He said, you can't make me marry you. You can't make me stand up here. He said, "This is just," I said, "Oh Lord." I mean, she was trying. She was like, "But you're not even going to try." He was like, "I don't think that," she kept scolding him. She did. She was annoying. Let's just keep it a buck. All the chicks are annoying. Maybe all the chicks are annoying, period. I don't know. But all the chicks, from Allie being irritating because he drank 3 or 4 beers, she was like, "Well, how many beers were in there? Well, what happened to the other 2? I'm like, girl.
You already sound like a nagging wife.
She does. And she's pretty. But the thing about Allie and Anton, Allie, I noticed, if you guys didn't pick up on this, her mother was a mail order bride. Her mother, she's from Colombia or somebody, one of those, Brazil. She's from Brazil. So her mother said that she met her husband. He talked to her on the phone for 3 weeks. They got engaged and she married him. She moved to America to marry him. We have all seen 90 Day Fiance. We all know what that is. Those mothers in Brazil and those other third world countries, they teach their daughters, you find you a rich American man and make him take care of you. Allie has been very clear. I'm not cleaning up. I'm not doing no work. I don't want to work. And this is what it is. She's been taught that you go get a rich man and he takes care of you. Her mother did it. Her mother raised her to do it because she looked him in the face and he said, "Well, is this you? You're just not going to clean up after yourself and you're not going to help?" And she said, "Yes, that's me. I'm not going to do that." I'm like, wow.
Wow.
And there it is. And then she said that she expected the ring to be $10,000, not $5,000. She also said that she expects, she's very, very blunt about what she wants. She does not hold her tongue. And she was like berating him. Like, she was really upset about him going to the strip club when he was single. Like, what? But I feel like I don't even think that it's the fact that she doesn't like him. I think she's just been taught that she has pretty privilege and she should get what she wants.
Run, brother, run. That gets no better.
No. She says she's not going to do it. She said no. He said, "Is this how you're going to be?" She said, "Yes." I was like, oh. Not I can try. I can no. She said that when she goes back to school, she does not plan to cook or clean.
If she's doing all that, why is she even going back to school then? If she's not,
And she just doesn't want to do anything.
why go back to school?
Maybe so she just has a reason not to do anything because she's not having kids right now.
She just needs something to do until the rich man.
Something. Well, I think she feels like now he's a transportation specialist. I don't know how much money he has, but he did. But he said 5,000. She was like 10, and then she said you should not have a problem with that. That should be that's a token of your love. Why did you have a problem with that? She is crazy, unhinged. But he said that he's in love with her. I think he's in love with how she looks. And she comes off very submissive. That's another thing. See, men like the submissive thing. When she was in the pods, not her attitude, is her voice. What are you doing? It's the baby voice, but it's not submissive attitude. A lot of girls do that. They talk in a real sweet little girl voice, but it's a bitchy attitude.
I seen a woman check another woman for talking like that.
Yeah, well, we know what it is.
And she was like, why are you talking like that? You don't talk like that. I was like, whoa.
But sometimes men fall for that, though.
We were falling for it until she let the cat out the bag and told us she don't really talk like that.
Well, it looks like many men still are falling for it because Anton is definitely falling for it. Brazil is known for that. They are known for it's a beautiful woman. She gonna get her a simp. And that's going to be it, and he just wants a beautiful woman to be with, and she just wants to be provided for. So I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody earlier in the chat said he doesn't seem emotional towards her. I don't think that. I think he really likes her. I don't think he's an emotional person. Like, I think his mother, that you got to realize both of them come from different cultures, right? So he's, I think, Russian or something like that. His mom is very different, and she is from a Latino culture. They are very clear on what the roles of men and women are. So, especially a beautiful woman. Her mom said, I got my husband this way. And that's what she wants to see her daughter taken care of. And that's what it is.
Got the Latino women then, if he's looking for somebody to cook and clean.
Yeah, she's not, but she's not. She's maybe Brazil doesn't do that. Maybe he needed a different type.
Yeah, he need to go to a whole nother continent because
she said, this is what you're getting. This. Brazil is not Latino. When she was at the table with his friends, they were like, you're Latino too. And she was like, yeah. Maybe I don't know what her father is, but the mother said, my bad, B. I stand corrected. The mother said that she met her husband on the phone. She met him on the phone, and then she moved, and then she actually met him in person when she moved there.
Like
so
pride or something?
Yeah. Yep. But again, and even his mom, like a lot of other cultures they believe in arranged marriages. You know what I mean? So this idea of love is blind is not so foreign to them, like the rest of us. Next week, we're going to talk about the culmination of all this. We definitely need to talk a little bit more about how Joe kicked Madison to the curb. It was crazy. He was the runaway groom. Also the reunion, and what does Nick have to say to Annie and to everybody else that dislikes him? What is going to happen with the remaining couples? Will they get married? We'll talk about all of that next Wednesday as we follow up on the dating disasters on Love is Blind. Before we end tonight, Mo, what would you say the biggest dating mistake was for this first half of Love is Blind that you saw?
Too much information too early.
Oversharing.
That's it right there. That's the phrase. Oversharing. I mean, I'm saying you don't get to it. I just believe in that first conversation. I mean, because a lot of stuff it's not you, it's what you're going through, right?
Yeah.
And that could pass with whatever it is, whether it be through therapy or whatever, but just who you are and be careful what you project out there. Because like I said, I've been in situations where it was just so heavy. I might not have liked them for something totally different. But now I gotta hang in there. Because I'm gonna really look crazy if I say it now after what you just said. And
Yeah.
it's tough. So oversharing would be mine. What would be yours?
First of all, I want to say to B, I was right. Brazil is a Latin part of Latin America, so they are Latino. So I was like, am I crazy? They are. It is. I just looked it up. They do. They do speak Portuguese, but it's still considered Latin America. Okay. But I think the biggest mistake that I saw was running from your past without healing.
I like it.
So I think like with Megan, with Calabria, and even some of the other ladies, trying to run from hurt by going to an extreme and not healing yourself creates a whole nother problem, because you jump from the frying pan into the fire, kind of like Cardi B running from the pain with Offset into some BS with Stephon Diggs. Like, you cannot run from pain and into love. You gotta you gotta heal and love yourself and then go.
Can't run from pain into love.
You have to love yourself. You cannot run from pain to somebody else, because what you're gonna do is try to substitute that with something different. And as we see, all these situations are crashing and burning because you have to heal yourself, and another person is not going to be the answer. It is not going to be the answer. So with Calabria, I think that's the biggest example of that. She said that this is a different type of guy from all the guys in her past, but this is getting ready to be another example of what she's going to want to run from. She's probably going to run to a rapper or a thug after this, because this is going to be horrible. But the point is, you cannot run. You got to heal and then figure out what it is about you and do that. But you cannot run the other way. So those are our biggest takeaways. Mo said the oversharing, because you cannot emotionally guilt somebody into being in a relationship with you, be it because you are like Madison, the situation with her eyes going blind and trying to find empathy for that. That's not going to work. Same thing with Megan, with trying to and Jordan, with him, telling her that his son and him need her. Like, it just, you cannot do that. And I just meant Tihu, when I meant a thug or a rapper, I'm just saying she's going to go from the opposite of Edmund. Edmund has no swag. She's probably going to try to find the most swagged out person ever after.
She probably got to go through her basketball athlete phase.
Well, after being on Love is Blind and being, exposed because she's a beautiful girl, she'll probably get some other options.
Yeah, there you go.
A trapper, a scammer, something else. Because this real estate agent is not it. I think Jordan does not realize he's trying to find empathy, but I do feel like a lot of times single fathers do want mothers for their children. And I think that men are more likely to try to put somebody in that place. Women do it too, as Mo just told us. A woman put her daughter on the phone and was like, "Are you going to hurt my mommy?" Trying to make him be a stepdad. But I think a lot of times men, a man doesn't actually physically have the child. So a lot of times when he has the child, he's trying to find that other piece. And I do think him saying, "We need you." Luca doesn't need Megan. No, he doesn't. Luca has a mom and a dad. Now, if his dad falls in love, the real, and it's a healthy situation, and they start to build, and then he grows an attachment to that woman later, he may need her, but right now he don't need Megan. He does not need Megan. That is not correct. Last thing, did you see that scene where Calabria was asking Edmund, would he fight a dude for her? That was the craziest thing. And I was like, she's gaslighting him, because she asked him, they were sitting there, she was like, what if we're at a club and you and I come in together And the guy looks at me and is like, I want you. What are you going to do? And he's like, I don't want no trouble. I don't like confrontations. I'm just going to be like, baby, let's go. And she said, what if he grabs my arm? Then what are you going to do? He touched me. He was like, I ain't going to put my hands on no man. I'm just going to say, baby, let's go. Are you really saying that? Like, if he grabs me and tells me he wants me in front of you, you're not going to do anything? I don't want no trouble. I'm just going to say, baby, let's go. And then she was like, you know, I'm mad at you, right? You're in trouble, right? How are you not going to defend me? First of all, Calabria, ma'am, see, that's toxic. In what situation would you and Edmund be in a club and a man just grab you in his face? And if he did, wouldn't it be on you to say, I'm with my man? Like, why are you trying to have him say that he would fight? Like, she wanted him to say, and I ain't gonna lie, I give it to Edmund. Edmund said, I don't want to put my hands on no man. I ain't gonna do it. She said, even if he grabs me and he disrespects, and he was like, I just ain't gonna do it.
He don't sound at that point, even for TV, just be like, but then I gotta do what I gotta do. But don't say, because now you don't look like a protector, and all women want providers and protect. It just,
but the fact that he kept saying no is hilarious, and the fact that she kept pushing the issue is even crazier. It's just like, girl, let it go. But she was trying so hard to get him to say that he would fight, and Edmund said he ain't gonna put his hands on nobody, no matter what. No matter what, he don't. And then she said, well, what if the dude is your size? Because first she said, what if this big buff dude? That he was like, no, I'm not doing it. She said, well, what if he's not even buff? What if he's just your size? Nope, I'm not doing it. Edmund said, I'm not gonna fight.
she trying him.
He did not. The funny part is he did not even care. He was not even willing to lie. He was not willing to lie for it.
He is Norbit. Somebody called it out on the chat. He's Norbit.
Yeah, that is sort of like, I don't want to fight. 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 So yeah, I think, but see, that was her toxicity. That was crazy. Like, who says that?
Right.
Who tries to get, and that man is tall and skinny. He wants to run. He wants to jump and play and skate. He don't want to fight. Why? Leave that man alone, Calabria. Leave him alone. He did say he would call security. He said, then it's just time for us to call security. And she looked disgusted. Because she's so used to dudes probably that it'll be a fight, right? She's running from something she should have healed, and it's just not good. But you guys, let us know what you think the biggest dating mistakes were thus far on Love is Blind. We will be back on Friday. We're going to talk on Friday about, you guys know I addressed a situation on Ready to Love. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We also have a surprise about the upcoming season of Ready to Love that we're going to share with you guys on Friday. So make sure you are here 10 o'clock as always. Friday, we're going to talk about Ready to Love. We're going to cover what the hell is happening on Bell Collective with Glendale. We're going to get into that. Make sure that you like this before you leave it. Like this before you leave it. Like it before you leave. Let us know in the chat if you're watching on the replay. What did you think the biggest mistakes were this season? Denver's Love is Blind, and come back next Wednesday. We're going to wrap up with all the weddings, the grooms and the brides, and who ran, who stayed, who said no, who said yes, and of course the reunion. We're going to be talking about it all next Wednesday right here on Dating Diaries. We love you guys for watching. In the week strong, guys. In the week strong. Thursday, Friday, in strong. See you here Friday at 10.
10 o'clock, y'all.